Hi guys, welcome back. In the last session, we completed our discussion related to how to develop synchronous client and asynchronous client by using web client. When we want to develop synchronous client, that means after making a request, we are waiting for the response. To make our web client as a synchronous client, we are using block method. Whenever we use the block method, the thread will wait for the response. Once we receive the response from the API, then only we'll proceed further. Suppose after sending a request, I don't want to wait for the response. Then we will go for subscribe method. So when I go for the subscribe, I'm passing a consumer object for the subscribe. So when I call the subscribe, it will not wait for the response. Once after sending the request, it will continue and will execute the logic. Okay. So as of now, we understood several concepts in our REST API development. Okay, guys. So here we discussed what is distributed application and what are the distributed technologies are available and what is REST, right? And what is the REST architecture? What is XML and JAX-B? What is the JSON and Jackson? What is HTTP protocol? What are the protocol methods available and what are the status codes available? And we discussed REST architecture principle. We need to discuss this. This one topic is pending. I did not explain that as of now. What are the REST architecture principles are available? We need to discuss. And API development, we have seen REST API development provider we have created, IRCTC API. What is REST controller? REST controller is making our class as a distributed component. We discussed about get, post, put, delete methods, query parameters and path parameters, request body and response body, and how to test the REST API by using Postman. Okay. Then what is the Swagger? That also we understood. Then we discussed REST client development. Okay. So how to develop a REST client? What is REST consumer that we discussed, right? REST client development we understood by using REST template class, and we use web client also. REST template will support only for synchronous client development, and another one is async client. Okay, so here REST template is a predefined class which will support for only synchronous communication, whereas web client is supporting for both synchronous and asynchronous communication. So these concepts we have covered. Principles I have not explained as of now. We will discuss those concepts. Okay, before going to understand the principles, I want to explain one small topic, guys, that is very, very, very important, and it will simplify our job. So that is Spring Data REST. Spring Data REST. Already we discussed Spring Data JPA. Guys, can you tell me what is the purpose of Spring Data JPA that we discussed in our course? We developed several examples by using Data JPA, CRUD repository, JPA repository, storage procedure, relationships also we understood in the Data JPA. Can you tell me what is the purpose of Data JPA?
Yeah, to achieve the persistence logic.
Yeah, Data JPA we are using to develop persistence logic. Data JPA we are using to develop the persistence logic. When we go for Data JPA, are we writing the logic or we are using the predefined repository interfaces?
Repository interfaces.
We are using the predefined repository interfaces. We no need to write our logic. What is the benefit I'm getting? What is the benefit that I'm getting with the Data JPA? What is the benefit I'm getting with the Data JPA, guys?
Already functionality available. Just we have to use
the methods.
You don't need to write the complete query.
You don't need to write the logic to perform the CRUD operations. You don't need to write the logic to perform the CRUD operations. Now, let us take one scenario. Guys, in our project, assume that there are some tables available. Okay, books table is available. And there is a table called author table is available. Book table is available. Author table is available. And stock details table is also available. Stock table is available. And users table is also available. Customers table is also available. It is a bookstore. In our project, we are having books table, authors table, stock table, and customers table, or I can say reports table is available. Books table, authors table, reports table, customer table is available. In this table, I want to perform some operations: insert, update, delete, retrieve. You understand my point? I want to perform CRUD operations on this database table. So these CRUD operations, I want to perform in all the tables available in my project. Okay? So these are common CRUD operations that I need to perform in every table available in my project. Now assume that there are 4 tables are available in my application. One is books table, second one is author table, third one is reports table, fourth one is a customer table. In the book table, I want to perform insertion, updation, deletion, and retrieval. Similarly, author table, insertion, update, insert the record, update the record, delete the record, retrieve the record. Similarly, in the report table, insert the record, update the record, delete the record, retrieve the record. Similarly, in the customer table also, I want to perform all these operations. In order to perform these operations, I'm creating one REST controller called book REST controller. Okay, I'm creating one REST controller called book REST controller. Book REST controller will contain the methods to perform operations on the book table. Okay, guys. Now, how many methods I need to write in the book REST controller now to perform these 4 operations? How many methods I need to write here? I need to write the get method, I need to write the post method, and I need to write the delete method. Get method is used to retrieve the data. Post method is used to insert the data. Put method is used to update the data. Delete method is used to delete the data. So these 4 methods I need to write in the book REST controller. Similarly, author table is available. To perform the operations in the author table, I need to create author REST controller. Similarly, reports table is available. I need to create reports REST controller. Okay. Now, if I go for customer table, for the customer table also to perform the operations, I'm creating customer REST controller. Are you guys able to follow me? So there are 4 tables available. To perform the CRUD operations on the 4 tables, I'm creating 4 REST controller. In every REST controller, I need to write 4 methods to perform these operations: get method, post method, put method, delete method. Okay, so can I say this is a common logic that we are writing in the every REST controller?
Yes.
Yes, we can say this is a common logic that we are writing in the every REST controller. Just we are performing the insert operation, update operation, delete operation, retrieval operations. Okay, suppose like this, I'm having 2000 tables in my project. Then what you will do?
2000 controllers.
2000 controllers we have to create. In every controller 4 methods, 2000 into 4, 8000 methods we have to write in our project. Those 8000 methods, what is the logic available in those 8000 methods?
Same logic.
Same repeated logic.
Repeated. Can I call it as a boilerplate code?
Yes.
Yes, we can call it as a boilerplate code. In every project, some tables will be available. In those tables, I want to perform CRUD operations: inserting the record, updating the record, deleting the record, retrieving the record. To perform these CRUD operations, I need to create one REST controller. In that REST controller, I need to write the get method, post method, put method, delete method. What is the purpose of get method? What is the purpose of get method? To retrieve the data. Post method, post method to insert the data. Put method to update the data. Delete method to delete the data. So like this, if I am having 2000 tables in my project, there are 2000 tables available in my project. So if I have 2000 tables in my project, then I need to create 2000 REST controllers. In 2000 REST controllers, in every REST controller, 4 methods I have to write. 2000 into 4, I need to write 8000 methods only to perform CRUD operations. Is it recommended or not recommended?
Not recommended.
Why it is not recommended?
Repeated boilerplate.
We are writing a lot of boilerplate code in the project. So to avoid this boilerplate code development in the project, we no need to do this now. What is the solution? The solution is Spring Data REST module. Are you guys able to follow me? To perform CRUD operations in the database, are we writing the logic or we are using JPA repository, CRUD repository to perform the CRUD operations?
We are using the JPA repository.
We are using JPA repository to perform the CRUD operations. Similarly, If you want to perform CRUD operations in the database table by using REST controller, you no need to create the REST controller. You no need to write the methods. If you use a concept called Spring Data REST concept. Are you able to understand? It is used to avoid, it is used to simplify, REST API development to perform operations. It is used to simplify REST API development. We no need to create REST controllers to perform CRUD operations with a DB table. So what is Spring Data REST? Spring Data REST is used to simplify REST API development. When we use Spring Data REST, we no need to create REST controllers to perform the CRUD operations with DB tables. To perform CRUD operations with the DB table, no need to create the REST controller. When we use Spring Data REST concept, we no need to do that. Now, let me create one simple project and let me show you clearly. File, new, Spring Starter project. I'm creating my 28 application, Spring Boot Data REST API. Okay, guys, observe carefully. Spring Data REST concept I am using. Spring Data REST. Maven project, jar packaging, Java, group ID in.ashok.it, package also in.ashok.it. Go to next. Here, I'm going for web dependency. This web is also not required basically. Data JPA, Lombok, MySQL driver. There is a starter called Data REST starter. What is the starter, guys? Spring Data REST starter will be available.
Repository REST.
Yeah, data REST concept will be available. Now you can check here, Spring Data REST. Data REST dependency will be available. Yeah.
Repository REST.
What is that, guys?
Repository.
REST repository concept is available. That is called Spring Data REST. Now, REST repositories dependency we need to select. Click on next, click on finish. So with this, my REST application got created. In that, I'm using Spring Data REST dependency. Let us go to our pom.xml. Now, check here. What is the dependency I have added? What is the first dependency I have selected, guys? Data JPA. It is used to perform operations with the database table. And I have selected one more dependency, REST repositories. When I select the REST repositories, what is the dependency I'm getting? Starter Data REST. And I am using MySQL connector to communicate with the MySQL database. And I'm using Project Lombok. Perfect. Now, in this project, let me create one entity class. I'm creating a class with a name called book. Okay, book. Let me create in a separate package, entity package, naming convention and packaging conventions. New class, I'm creating in.ashok.it.entity. I'm going for book entity. So let me represent this class as an entity here, guys. For that, I'm going for @entity annotation. And I want to map this table. I want to map this class with a database table. For that, I'm using @table annotation. I want to give the name of the table. @table name. Let me give you a table name. If you don't give the table name, what will happen here? If you don't give the table name, what will happen? Class name will be considered as a table name. Now, I'm writing @table. Name is equal to book_table. Okay. Let me write some properties. Private integer book ID, private string book ID, private string book name, and private double price. Okay. So this is book ID. I'm giving book ID and string name, and I'm giving price. You can just give the ID also, no problem. Private integer ID, name, and price. I want the setters and getters. Let me go for Lombok. @data annotation I'm using. Perfect. Okay. Now here, I want to create one interface, repository interface. Create the interface. Let me keep that in the repo package. Then go for book repository. In the book repository, I want to extend the properties from JPA repository. Extend the properties from JPA repository. Book is my entity class. Primary key of that is a integer. Primary key of that is a integer. Now, I am taking this as a repository. Okay, as of now, what I have done, guys, I created one project. In that project, I have added some dependencies. One is a JPA starter, another one is a REST starter, and MySQL connector. And I created one entity class with a name called book. And I created one repository extending from the JPA repository. I want to configure my data source properties. So let me take my MySQL data source properties from here. So it is a YML file. Okay, I can take this file and I can keep it here in my project. YML properties. Let me change my file to YML. Yeah. So I'm configuring my data source properties. Close this project. Close this project. Yeah. Now you can observe what is there inside my project. Yeah. Guys, anything new that we don't know here? Whatever I have created, anything that you don't know?
All things
you know what is entity? What is entity? The Java class which is mapped with the table is called as a entity class. What is repository? Repository is used to perform database operations. Okay. And this is my start class, which is entry point of my application. Now let me connect with MySQL database. Let me connect with MySQL database. So what is the database name I am using here? The database name is SBMS27. Okay. Connect to this database. Use the DB as SBM27. Use SBMS27. Connect. Use the database. Then go for show tables. Now, so there are some tables available. Is there any table with a name called book? No. Select the star from book underscore TBL. That is my table name. Do I have that table or I don't have that table? What it is saying that table does not exist. So as of now, with this name, table is not available in the database. In my project, do I have any REST controller to perform the REST operations? Guys,
no.
In our project, do I have any REST controller to perform the operation? Or I don't have the REST controller?
You don't have.
We don't have.
I don't have a REST controller to perform the operation. Now, I want to perform CRUD operations on the book table. I want to perform CRUD operations on the book table by using REST API, right? You no need to develop a REST controller to perform the CRUD operations. What you can do is you just go to your repository. And in your repository, you need to mention one annotation. In the repository, you need to mention one annotation to expose REST API methods. So what is that annotation is @repository REST source. What is that? This is a new thing, guys. @repository REST resource. What is the annotation I'm specifying? @repository REST source. REST source. Now I'm giving path is equal to books. I'm giving what? Path is equal to books. What is the meaning of a path is equal to books? Books is the URL pattern that I want to take. Books is the URL pattern that I want to take. Okay, that's it. If you write this one annotation, then this application is having a REST API to perform the CRUD operations. Let's check this. Refresh our project. Run as boot application. I'm running my boot application with a data REST dependency. Now, here it is not able to load my YML file. Let me refresh my project, update my Maven project, Maven update, force update. Okay. Yeah, perfect. It is done. Right click, run as boot application. Run as boot application. Now, can you see that my project is started? It is failed. What is the reason? No identifier specified. So for a table, primary key is mandatory. Did I specify the primary key here?
No.
How to
No,
specify
no.
the primary
At the
key?
rate of
At the
ID.
rate ID.
At the rate
of
ID.
ID. Then it
ID.
will be represented as a primary key. Represented as a primary. Now refresh. Now here, let me rerun my project. Run as boot application. Clear the console. Run this project and check this. Application is getting started. And check the messages. Now can you see here what it is saying? Application started on the Tomcat server with the port number 8080. So data JPA repository is scanned, it is identified. Okay, now check this. Select the star from book table. That the table is not created yet. So what is the property here? Oh, what is the reason table is not created?
Update auto DDL update.
We did not specify auto DDL.
Update.
How to specify DDL auto? Hibernate JPA DDL auto. I'm giving as a update. So with this, table will be recreated. Table will be created. Now let me run this project again. Run as boot application. Now table should be created in the database because of the DDL auto. Perfect. Table is created. Yes, table is created. Application also started. Go to database. Select star from table name. Can you see the table? Any data available or data is not available?
Not available. Data.
ID, name and price. Data is not available. Now I want to send a post request to insert the data. Do I have REST controller in the project or I don't have REST controller in the project?
We don't have REST control.
We don't have a REST control in the project. Now see the magic. Go to the postman. Let me send a post request for this application. I don't have a REST controller. The thing what I have done is for the repository, I have used one annotation, repository REST resource. That's it. Repository REST resource annotation I have used so that application will provide me all the get, post, put, delete methods to perform the operation. Now let me go for post method, localhost colon 8080. What is the path I have given? Path I have given as products. Now
books.
Books. Yeah. Path I have given as books. Headers, I don't have anything. Now here I will specify ID. ID is an integer 101. Then name is a string I want to take for that book. And price is a double value 100.50. So this is my JSON data. What I'm saying here, send a post request to this URL with JSON data. Now clear our console. There is nothing available in the console and send a request. I'm sending post request. So after sending the post request, can you see what is the response I'm getting? What is the response code I'm getting?
201.
201 created. And what is the response I'm getting? Boss, name is spring, price is 100. The links are available. Now go to the database, select the table and see this. Record is inserted or not?
Yes.
Guys, record is inserted or not inserted?
Inserted.
Record is inserted. Now let me insert one more record. 101 is there now. Keep it as 102. I'm keeping it as Angular and the price I'm keeping as 150. Click on send. Now go to database and select my table. Second record is also inserted. And let me here keep it here 103 DevOps and let me keep it as 250 and click on send. Record is inserted. I'm sending a post request to my application. But where is the REST controller in our project? See here, insert queries are executed. The data is inserted into our database table. Where is the logic to do that?
Internally built.
That is the power of data REST module. What is the Spring Data REST here? It is used to simplify REST API development. We no need to create the REST controllers to perform CRUD operations with the DB table when we use Spring Data REST. Okay, now I want to get the data. To get the data, what request I need to use? Get. I'm sending a get request. I'm sending a get request with the /books URL. Click on send. Now 200 status code I'm getting. Embedded books. This is the first book. and this is the second book, and this is the third book.
All array.
I'm getting all the books here. I want to get one book here. Books/101. When I send books/101, what it will give me?
101 data will be
Only 101
So
record.
it will
ID.
give me the book based on the book ID. It is giving the book records based on the book ID. If I don't give the book ID, then what will happen? If I don't give the book ID, what will
All the
happen?
books.
All the
We'll get
books
the
are
all
coming.
the all the
All
books
the
data.
books are coming. Now, I want to delete one book, guys. In the classes, I did not explain the delete method. Now I will show you the delete method. I want to delete a book whose ID is 103. Then you need to go here, select the delete,
Select the delete
/books/103. 103. Click on send. Now what happened? No response. But go to database, select star from table. Record is deleted or not deleted?
Deleted.
Record is deleted. Now, I want to update Spring book price to 200. Currently, what is the book price available?
100.
100 is available. Now I want to update the price. So to update the price, I will go for put request. Put request. Okay. So book ID is 101. Book name is Spring. Book name is Spring. Price I want to keep as a 200. Currently the price is 100 for the first record. I want to update the price as 200. To send a update request, what type of request to make the update in the table? What method I am using? Put. Books slash. Now I don't need to use anything. I'm sending /books with the ID 101. Name is the Spring. Price is the 200. Click on send. 404 not found. What it is saying now? What it is saying now? Is it accepting my request or not accepting my request?
Not accept.
Not
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 accepting my
accept.
request. Now,
/ID.
/101. Click on send. Now what happened? 200. Okay. So with the recorded data you want to update, you need to pass that ID in the URL and the data in the body. Now go to the database table. Earlier it is 100. Now select star from table. Now can you see price updated
Yes,
to 200?
updated. Yes.
Now, am I able to perform get to post to put to delete on the table without REST controller?
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Now tell me, do we really need to develop? See here, all the queries are executed. Update query is executed. Delete query is executed. Select queries are executed. Insert queries are executed. So when you want to perform CRUD operations on the table, you no need to develop the REST controller. What do you need to use? You need to use repository REST resource annotation. What is the meaning of repository REST resource annotation? This is making your repository as a REST controller. It is exposing all the REST API methods for us. From the Postman, directly I'm able to test my REST API. If you remove this ID here, if I click on send, now put method, I can't access. Get method with the books. Then what happened? I'm getting all the response. All 2 records are available. Those 2 records I'm getting as a response. So tell me, what is Spring Data REST? Is it recommended to use in the project or not recommended to use in the project?
Not recommended.
Recommended or not recommended?
It is data rest is recommended.
Yes, data rest is recommended because you no need to write the logic here. In the data JPA, you no need to write the methods to perform the CRUD operations. In the data rest, you no need to write the REST controller to perform the REST operations. Okay. If you use Spring Data JPA, Spring Data REST, within 1 minute, you can set up your application to perform CRUD operations with the database with the REST controller. Are you guys getting my point?
Yes.
So
This
with
feature we
you,
added in events.
yeah, when I use Spring Data JPA and Spring Data REST, how much time it will take for me to develop a application to perform CRUD operations with the database?
1 minute.
Within 1 minute, we can do it. Are you guys able to understand?
Ashok sir, I have one doubt about this. Yeah, we are able to develop very fast, but my doubt is, as per the flow, it will go to controller service and DAO, correct?
In this scenario, it is not required.
Yeah, if we need to send any custom messages or exception handling, then we can't able to do it, correct? In
Yes.
like this.
Here, You can do the
Yeah.
exception handling and all that stuff. You can create the exception handlers and you can create the interceptors also.
Oh, okay. Okay, sure.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, just doubt came at the time of doing you. Yeah.
You can create the exception handlers. We can create the filters. We can create.
Sir, what about the complex
let
queries?
me present the question in a different way.
Yep.
When not to use this data rest?
Sir, data rest means now your logic is not just to perform the crowd operations. We have seen IRCTC API is available. Can I use this data rest in the IRCTC?
No.
What is make my trip is available? IRCTC is available. What is the logic of IRCTC? IRCTC is doing crowd operation and IRCTC booking a ticket.
Booking a ticket.
That is a business logic, right? When you have the business logic, then you will not go for this. When it is required, if you want to perform only CRUD operations, insert, update, delete, retrieve, in that scenario, you will go for the data rest. If you have a logic, you need to take the passenger data, you need to book the ticket, and you need to send the ticket data. At that time, you need to create your own REST controller to perform the operation. So if you have a requirement to perform only CRUD operations with the table by using REST controller, then you can go for a data rest. I'm not saying that completely we can develop a project with the data rest. Data rest will simplify only CRUD operation related requirement. If you have a business logic to book a ticket, if you want to execute a complex queries and all, then you will go for normal REST controller and you can do that. So in your project, there are few tables you have. In those tables, you will just perform CRUD operation, nothing else. There is no business logic for that. Only insert, update, delete, retrieve. In that scenario, you can go for a data rest concept like this.
So it will not handle the complexity of a query, because then in that case, you need to write the queries, right?
Yes, right. Here also you can write the find by methods, and you can write the how we have done the custom queries execution, how we have created find by methods, right? That thing also we can do.
Sir, will it support NoSQL?
NoSQL, yes, sir. For MongoDB also it will be supported.
Paging and all?
Paging also we can do it.
Instead of Spring Data JPA, if you put Spring MongoDB JPA, automatically the queries, the CRUD operation will be done.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, can we post which contain child entity also?
Yes, relationships also will support here. Your relationships, right? Here I'm having a book class. In the book class, I'm having authors available, books available, suppose product available, product category available. So the relationship also one-to-one, one-to-many also we can do it. How we have done the relationships in the data JPA, same thing can be implemented. For that, product repository will be available, product category repository will be available.
Okay, sir. And can we get also using query params, sir?
Yes, you can do that. Query params also you can get.
Then how I will set the key, sir?
What key? I did not get your question.
Sir, in query param, I have to pass one key now, key and value.
Key and value. Yes,
Like,
you can do that.
yeah,
I will show you.
Using REST controller,
Now,
we are using request param.
Yes, sir. I will show you that now. Are you guys clear? What is this repository REST resource?
Yes, sir.
Now, I want
sir,
to.
my question is this.
Guys, listen to me. First, let me complete it. Okay. Along with this, now I want to write some methods which will take query parameters, which will take path parameters and all that stuff. In order to do that, let me write one method. Let me write one method in this book class, book repository. Okay. My method is, I want to pass one book name. I want to pass one book name. Based on the book name, I want to retrieve the record. Okay. For this, public book list of books can come. Public list book will be available. Find by name containing the given value. Okay. If I pass the name as A, it should give me all the books which are containing the name as A. So like this, I'm writing one find by method. Okay, guys. So for find by method, what I will specify here is @param. @param, I will specify as a name. @param, I will specify as a name. So when I specify this, find by name containing question mark name is equal to given value. So this is a find by method I'm writing. When we are writing these find by methods, let me restart my application and let me check it. Is it working or not? run as boot application. Now, so I don't have a REST controller, but I'm writing a find by method in my repository. Now I want to access this find by method through Postman. My application is started. Clear the console, go to the Postman, get /books/search/find by name containing ? Name is equal to Spring. Click on send. Now I'm sending a request with the search. Now, am I able to get that response? Guys, am I able to get that response? Find by method, am I able to call by passing path parameter? Check in my database. What are the records available? Spring available, Angular is available. Now I'm going for books/set. When you want to execute your find by method, in the URL you need to keep the set find by name containing ? Name is equal to Spring. So this is my find by method name. I'm writing in the repository. See, my select query is executed. Clear the console. Book repository, find by name containing. This is my find by method. In order to access this find by method, this is my URL /books/search find by name containing ? Name is equal to Spring. I'm able to send a GET request. Here you can see the console. Select query is executed where name like given value. Clear the console. Let me keep the book name containing is equal to NG. So here in the book name, Angular is available. Angular contains NG. I want to get all the books which are having the keyword NG in the book name. Now I am giving localhost :8080 books search find by name containing. Search is a predefined URL pattern. Find by name containing. That is the method that I am writing. For this method, I want to pass a path parameter. That path parameter will be represented by using param annotation. ? @name is equal to NG. Click on send. I'm able to find by name is equal to NG. Get find by name is equal to NG. Let me take this URL. Go to browser. Is it working or not? Let me check it. Find by name is equal to NG. So when I send find by name is equal to NG, is it working or it is giving all the books? Guys, my find by name containing is working or it is giving all the books?
Giving all the books.
It is giving all the books. But what is our requirement?
Only NG.
And it is working. Why Spring record is also coming?
Yeah, NG is having Spring.
Containing NG. NG is there.
Spring also contains NG. Angular also contains NG. Suppose, let me give LAR. Name is equal to LAR. When I give name is equal to LAR, am I able to retrieve only Angular record?
Yes.
Yes.
That means, am I able to execute my find by method with the path parameter?
Yes.
Yes.
Am I writing a REST controller and I'm directly calling my repository method?
Repository method.
I'm calling my repository method directly. Someone asked me how to execute find by methods in this scenario. Do I have REST controller in the project or I don't have REST controller in the project?
REST controller.
I don't have REST controller in the project, but still I'm able to get the data. Okay.
Sir, this is newly introduced or already available?
It is already available from so long, but people don't know this.
Yeah, really, we don't know.
I think, sir, since 3 years, this method is available, right?
Yeah, from 3-4 years, this concept is available. Spring Data REST.
Yeah.
Spring Data REST will simplify our development like anything.
Thank you very much for sharing, sir. This.
Yeah, good, sir. Thank you. No problem. Right. So if you want to perform a CRUD operation, how much time it will take to develop the backend API? Guys, how much time it will take to develop the backend API? Come on.
1 minute.
Sir, in this scenario, we have to write the services part.
Service part. Did I write the service part? Why service
No.
part? Service part also not required.
Okay.
So you check my application. You check my application. Do I have service in this project?
No, in this project service, we don't have.
So service is also not required. When you have a service, right? You can't make a request to the service now. It is a repository REST. That means we are making our repository as a REST controller. That is the meaning of this. No need of service.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
We are making our repository as a REST resource. So In this repository, whatever the repository is available, whatever the request I'm sending to this, that is coming to the repository directly. That is the meaning of Spring Data REST.
So after search, we will use a method name in case of custom query.
If you want to execute any find by method, so after URL pattern, my REST controller URL pattern, what I have given, path is equal to books I have given. What is the meaning of path is equal to books? The URL pattern is books. So if you send a GET request with just /books, then it will give all the books which are available. How many books are available now? 2 books are available. And remember, whenever you go for a data REST, by default, how many records it is giving for us? By default, it is implementing pagination also. By default, it will give you only 20 records. By default, it will give you only 20 records. Pagination. If you want more records, you can send the pagination concept also here. Okay. How to send the pagination concept here? Set by name containing is equal to ng and page number is equal to given value. Page size is equal to given value. Pagination also you can send it directly in the URL that will be executed by our repository REST resource. You don't need to write a separate method for that.
Sir, /search by default is available?
Yeah, by default it is available /search. When you want to execute custom queries, in the URL pattern, you need to keep /search. What is your custom query method available? You need to call that method. If you want to pass any path parameter, you can pass like this. Okay, fine.
So normally URL pattern will be /books now, but here we are given only books.
Yeah, that's fine. It will understand that it is a /books. Okay. And guys, in some scenario, there may be a requirement. In my project, I want to use the Spring Data REST, but I don't want anybody to update the data and delete the data. But actually, am I writing the methods here? I'm not writing the methods to perform insert, update, delete, retrieve.
No, we are not writing any methods here.
We are not writing any method. So in the interview, previously, I think 1 month back, I have given one interview. In that interview, he asked me a question. Ashok, I want to develop a REST API to perform the crowd operations. What is your approach? I told them that I will go for Spring Data REST module. Within 1 minute of time, I will develop the REST API, which can perform crowd operations with the table by using data JPA. Then he asked me, okay, you will create a repository resource. I understand that. Within 1 minute, you can complete it. But my requirement is, in that REST API, users can perform only insert operation and retrieval operation. They should not perform update operation and delete operation. How you will restrict that?
Okay.
Valid question or not?
Valid.
So here, do I have any methods? Am I writing any methods here to perform insert, update, delete, retrieve, or I'm not writing any methods to perform update, insert, delete?
No methods.
Not writing.
I'm not writing any method. I'm just using one annotation called repository source. Repository resource. So what is the meaning of repository resource?
Our repository
resource?
All methods.
All methods will be coming. All get, put, delete, update methods are coming. So that now whoever knows my URL, they can send you a GET request. They can send you a put request, delete request, and they can delete. Suppose, for example, if you send you a delete request with the /books as 1 or 2, then what will happen?
It will delete.
1 or 2. Now my server is not started. Let me run this server. Right click, run as boot application. My application is running. Clear the console. Clear the console. Application started. Now go to the database. Check the table. Select start from the table. There are 2 records are available. And here I'm giving delete books /1 or 2. Books is my URL pattern. 1 or 2 is a path parameter. Click on send. Now record is deleted. Go to the database. Check this. What happened? Record deleted or not deleted?
Yes.
Deleted.
So, delete record, delete operation working or delete operation not working?
Working.
Delete operation is working. Now they don't want to perform the delete operation on the API. How we will disable the delete operation?
Restrict.
Right. We need to restrict the delete operation. See, we can do that. It's simple. We need to create a customization on the REST API. Okay. So when you are using Spring Data REST, we can do the customization. New class. I'm creating a class, my data REST config class. my data REST config class. In this class, I will specify that disable delete operation. Okay, I'm creating a config class. In order to do this config, I need to implement one interface called repository REST configurer. Repository REST configurer. I want to represent this as a configuration class. So I'm creating one class as a configuration class. That class is implementing repository REST configurer. In this class, there is a method called configurer method is available. There is a method called configurer method is available. In this configure method, we can configure the customization. Repository REST configuration, I'm overriding. What is the method available? Configure repository REST configuration. So there is a config object is available. Now for this config object, I will specify disable delete method. Now here, I'm going to specify HTTP method array. Which methods you want to disable, that you can specify. Unsupported methods. Unsupported methods is equal to, I want to create one array, HTTP method dot put method, HTTP method dot put, comma, HTTP method dot post. Now, these two methods I don't want to support in my project. I don't want users to update the data. I don't want users to delete the data. Sorry, this is delete. Put method and delete method are called as unsupported methods. Okay. Unsupported methods. Okay, I want to disable these methods because I'm using a data REST. By default, all the cloud operation methods are enabled with this URL path. But I want to disable. In order to disable that, I'm creating one configuration class. In this configuration class, I'm implementing one predefined interface called repository REST configurer. Okay, in that I'm overriding a method which is having a config object. For this config object, I will tell that disable these methods. Config dot get exposure configuration dot get exposure configuration dot for a domain type, for which class you want to do this disabling. What is your entity class? I'm performing operations based on my entity class. Get exposure configuration with the domain type book. For the book class, I want to disable some methods. For book entity, I want to disable some methods. So how we need to do? With the item exposure, I need to write a lambda here, metadata, comma, HTTP. Then I'm going to specify HTTP dot disable my unsupported methods. That's it. Are you guys clear? Now, with the collection exposure, I want to do that. So if you send the multiple records to delete, or if you send the single record to delete, I don't want to support. Okay. Then I will go for HTTP dot disable unsupported methods.
We can add the classes also, sir. Multiple classes.
Entity classes you need to add here.
Okay. Comma separated.
Yeah. For domain type, it is expecting class type, right? So we can specify that. Now I have here book.class. Okay. So what is my book.class? My book is an entity. For that entity, I'm having a repository. Is it a normal JPA repository or it is a REST repository?
REST repository.
REST.
Is it a normal repository or it is a REST repository?
Data
JPA REST repository. What is the difference between JPA repository and REST resource? In the JPA repository, only CRUD operations. Repository REST resource means CRUD operations plus REST API. Okay. Now, what are the methods I have disabled in my project?
Delete and
method and delete method. Okay. Now let me run my project. Refresh. Run as boot application.
Okay.
Clear the console. Now go to this table. Check what is how many records are available now? One record is available. I want to insert one record now. Let me go for post request. Body 102 record, and I'm going to insert the record as an Angular, and the price I'm keeping as a 250. What type of request I'm sending now?
Post request.
Post request / books. I want to insert a record with the ID 102. Click on send. Now record is created or not created?
Created.
Record is created. Go to database, select start from table, Record is inserted or not inserted?
Inserted.
Record is inserted. Now let me go for /books 102 send delete. What type of request I'm sending now? Delete.
Delete
So
request.
delete is a supported method or unsupported method?
Unsupported.
Unsupported. Now I'm trying to send a delete request with /102. Click on send. What happened now?
405. 405.
What is the meaning of that?
Method not supported.
Boss, we don't support for the delete operation. Now go to database, select star from table. Now you can see record is not deleted. So delete operation I have disabled. Similarly, if anybody send you a put request with 102, price is 250, I want to make it as a 350. What type of request I'm sending? Put request. Click on send. What happened now? What happened now? Method not allowed. Put request is also not allowed. Go to the database, select star from table. That put request is not allowed. Okay, let me go for get request with /102. Am I able to retrieve the data?
Yes.
Yes, get method is supported. But get method supported, post method supported, but put and delete not supported. Why put and delete not supported?
Because we restricted.
How I disabled it? By using
By
REST
configuration.
configuration. Okay.
Sir,
This
here
is
why
the
you have
logic.
used item exposure and collection exposure both?
Sir, item exposure means with item exposure represents a single object. Okay. Collection exposure means a JSON array.
So yeah, okay. But you have used both here.
Yeah. So that means if you send a delete request with a single record, and if you send a put request with single record or with a collection of records, both will not be accepted.
Okay.
Item exposure, register, measure for the resource, and collection exposure.
Sir, how to send this data to UI without using REST controllers?
Without using, you can send the data to the UI, right? So UI people, what they will do, they will just access your URL. Then the data will be given to UI.
Ajax call.
Whatever the URL I'm hitting from the postman, UI application will access the same URL, right? They will also get the data. So you are sending the data as a response. So this URL I'm accessing from postman, you can access from the browser, you can access from the UI application also.
We can write our own application also, right?
Right.
Sir, can we use data REST and our REST controller also for a single entity?
Sorry?
Can we use data REST and our REST controller also for single entity?
Can you come again?
Sir, I want to use REST controller also for that book.
If you want, you can write the REST controller also, and you can call the repository methods. That you can do it. If you want to do some customized business logic, then you can write your REST controller and you can call the method. If you don't want to write it also, still no problem. It will perform the CRUD operations. Based on your entity class, it is performing the operations. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Sir, how
we
will
can
do exception handling with it?
You can do the exception handling here. I have created a config class, right? For this config class, you can set all those things. Config.set default media type, set expose repository methods by default, set max page size, page parameter, repository. You can customize this object. Okay. So here you can specify exception handling concepts also. Config.set base path for that URL. All these things you can register by using this config object. Okay, and there are several other methods also available. Configure repository, exception handler resolver is available. You can create the exception handler resolver. You can set that to this exception resolver object. You can override the method and you can set your exception resolver to this. We can do this. Predefined methods are available. I want to give you, I'm not saying that complete project will be developed by using data REST, but you should have some idea what is data REST and how to simplify our cloud operations development in the backend by using data REST. You got it? Can I say the whole project will be developed by using data REST? Can we do that? No. When to go for data REST?
Only CRUD operations.
CRUD operation, simple.
If you have any simple application, if you want to perform just CRUD operations, then you can go for data REST concept.
When we don't have the business logic.
Yes, when you don't have business logic, your operation is just your operation is just insert, update, delete, retrieve, CRUD operations. You don't have any business logic. Then you can go for data REST.
So I had shared a couple of lines in the chat. Can you review that line, please?
Why is Spring Data REST not recommended in the real world application? Spring Data REST can be leveraged for initial evaluation of the project, not recommended in the real world applications as you are exposing your database entities directly as REST services. While designing RESTful services, the two most important things that we consider are the domain model and the consumers. But while using Spring Data REST, none of these parameters are considered. The entities are directly exposed.
I found it somewhere from Google. That's why I copied it. Just for review in the class.
They are saying that Spring Data REST is not recommended because directly you are exposing your database entities as a REST API. But what is the problem if we expose? Okay. So we don't give access.
I don't know. I just put it here for the review.
Yeah. Let me keep my point on this. So whatever the REST API URL is available, we don't give this REST API URL for the outside people, right? We will implement security. Only our front-end application will access our REST API URL. So there is no problem in using that, as per my knowledge. Okay. So in the Google, sir, the people who are writing those answers in the Google, they are also people like us. So they are sharing their point of opinion, right? Everybody will have their own opinion. So in my point of view, whatever the data REST application we are developing, whatever the URL is available, this URL we will secure. We don't give the access for this URL for the outside people. Only our front-end application will access this URL to get the data. So without writing any logic, we are able to expose the REST API to perform CRUD operations. When your application does not have any, when your REST API does not have any business logic, then you can go for this approach. Just with one annotation, we are getting all the REST API functionality.
Sir, will the HTOs will be by default automatically?
Yes, HTOs is by default inbuilt functionality here, sir. The meaning of HTOs is, I will explain in the REST principles. In the next session, I will explain the REST principle. HTOs means sending the response to the customer in the hypermedia format. That is called HTOs. When you go for a data REST, HTOs is inbuilt functionality. You see, when I send a request to this, I'm getting the response. Along with that, I'm getting some links also. These links are called as HTOs links. Okay. So when I explain HTOs principle, you will get the more clarity on that.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Sir, hello.
Yes, sir.
So suppose I am posting one parent data which contains child entity also.
You can do it, sir. You can do it.
So I have to use @repository REST resource annotation on both parent and child.
Yes, you need to use it. Suppose if you are having two tables, the tables are having a relationship. For those two tables, you will create the two repositories, right? For the two repositories, you have to use this annotation. The relationship, the relationship path will be different. Suppose you have product and product category. Product category will be available here and product will be available in the product repository. The relationship you will represent in the entity classes, one to many, many to one, many to many, like this. Repositories will be available like this. So product table will have a repository, that path will be products. Product category will have a repository, that path will be product category.
Okay.
The relationship will be represented in the entity. In the repository, there is no change. For two tables, two repositories should be created.
And at that time, we have to only specify URI of parent.
Correct.
In real world project, are the people are using data REST or not, sir?
Some projects will use it, sir. As I told you, when you have requirement to perform only CRUD operations in the table without any business logic.
So Ashok, we can use that data REST for master tables.
Right. Master tables, nothing but the data will not be updated from the application.
Yes.
That is only for read operation. Yeah. This is the dependency. This is the dependency we need to add to use data REST in our project. To use data REST in our project, we need to add below dependency in form.xml. So this is called as REST repositories dependency. Anybody using this in your project, guys, in the real time? Anybody working on this?
Yes, sir. I developed the CRUD operations with this.
Okay, good. So this is a simple entity class that I'm giving here.
Sir,
what is entity? We are having a repository. It is not a normal repository now. This is called as a REST repository. It is not a normal repository. It is a REST repository. Okay. So in this REST, to perform the operations in the REST repository, we no need to write any business logic. Just with this, we will get the operation. If you want to customize anything, if you want to disable any particular method, then you can create the configuration class and you can disable your methods.
Sir, it is supporting Spring Security also here?
Yes, you can add the security as well.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Good. Guys, we learned one new concept today. What is data REST and how to simplify our REST API development by using data REST concept. Good. With this, I'm stopping for today. We'll meet again in the Monday session. In the Monday session, we will discuss REST architecture principles and we will summarize what we have learned in the REST API classes as of now. Got it, guys? Monday will be the last class on this REST principle. Then we need to talk about how to develop microservices and how to implement Spring Security, all the remaining topics we are going to discuss. So if I complete REST architecture principles, then our part 1 will be completed here, RESTful services. Then Spring Security will be available and cloud with microservices will be available. Okay, guys.
So is it possible for us assign to someone to upload today's video tomorrow morning, if possible, because otherwise it will be uploaded on Monday.
Sir,
I believe.
I don't understand the problem here. So you already attended the live session. I have given the step-by-step notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can develop this application. Why you need to wait for the video, man? Do you think that you will watch that 1 hour video once again? Is it really required? Step by step, I have given the notes also. So by following these notes, you can develop the application. Why you need to wait for that video? They will upload it tomorrow. They will do it. Okay. Good.
Yeah. So on Tuesday you are going to explain like a Spring Security, or you are going to start the microservices architecture?
I will check that, sir. I will see that. Based on that, we'll plan it. So nothing as of now. There is nothing in my mind. So what is the plan? Whether security should start or microservices? So we'll see that. Based on that, we'll plan. But both will be discussed.
Yeah, both will be discussed, but I am attending the interview, so that microservices or monolith and microservices architecture I need.
Okay,
so they are asking in the interview to explain the architecture. So what is the advantage and disadvantage both?
Okay.
And sir, what about exception?
Exception handling is there, sir. I need to explain.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, how we can restrict URL in REST API?
That is with the security we can do that, sir. In the Spring Security, you will understand that concept.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Today's notes I have uploaded in the portal, guys. Please check this.
Sir, I have one doubt not related to this. I have deployed one application in AWS. When I stop mobile extreme, it is not working. Why, sir?
Correct, sir. I will send you a command to run this. All right. So what you need to do is the command. Let me show you. When you are running that in the AWS, right? By default, when you close the mobile extreme, it will be deleted. So what you need to do is you need to execute your command like this. No hook. Okay. Java space jar file and. If you execute like this, even if you close the mobile extreme, that application will be keep on running. Now I have given the IRCTC API. Still it is running. I closed my mobile extreme.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you execute this command,
this link in groups.
Yeah, yes. With this command, you can execute.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Then if you close the mobile extreme also, application will not be stopped.
Okay.
No hook, Java, jar file name. At the end, you need to give AND symbol.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir.
Thank you. Hi.
Sir, few minutes ago, sir, you are saying that master DB. What is master DB, sir?
Not master DB, sir. Master table.
Sir. Yes, sir. Master table.
Suppose, for example, in your project, you have a drop down to display country names. Country names will change every day, or it is a static data.
Static data, sir.
Static tables are called as master tables.
Okay.
Good, guys. Thank you. So tomorrow, Sunday, no class. We have next class on Monday. So Monday, we will discuss REST architecture principles. Thank you, guys. Please practice data REST before coming to Monday class. See you on Monday.